Fuck it, I'm getting another snack.
Is Mark here?
Mark?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's here.
Okay.
All right. We ready?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let me look at my timestamps here. All right. Let's get going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome to episode 194 of the KBMOD podcast. Blah walking casually back into the shot with some drinks and some food. Oh my god, that if you're not watching, you just missed a sweet hit.
We should call it 93.5, bro.
We should call it 93.5. That's probably kind of what it's going to be. We just got done. If you're listening to this on the audio, you missed an hour and a half of our live reactions to the Bethesda announcements. And if you're living under a rock for the last 2 days and listening to this on the audio version, some shit happened, I guess, at E3. We just got done.
It's a nice way to start E3.
Yeah. We just got done with Bethesda's press conference. Let me just break down a quick synopsis for people who are listening, or maybe if you just came into the stream. Doom looks real good. Battleborn exists. Dishonored 2 is coming out. And holy mother of God, Fallout 4.
I was not at all, I didn't even care about Fallout 4.
No.
Not really. I kind
either.
of did, but not really. And then I saw that shit. Oh my god, that's how you do a press conference. That's how you show off a game.
I don't know how... I mean, we'll be live tomorrow from noon Eastern on doing the press conferences tomorrow, but I don't know how anyone can really do anything tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know. Fallout 4, if you've missed it, you can go look up all the footage online. I'm sure it's already up somewhere. If you're live right now, or if you're on the audio, it's been a couple days. I'm sure it's up somewhere. My God. You can build your own house.
They had 2 or 3 different one more thing style announcements even after they showed the initial Fallout gameplay.
And it's coming out on November 10th this year.
Yeah, that's actually some of the biggest news to me. I would have expected maybe spring 2016.
Yeah. I
think that just shows you how long they must have been working on this.
Yeah, it's been 7 years since Fallout 3. We get customizable housing. Apparently you can build a town, basically. You can customize your weapons all to hell, craft all sorts of other random shit in it. There's an iOS companion game that is out right now. If you have an iOS device, you can get that right now. It looks really awesome. It's kind of like a Sim Tower thing with the vaults. Goddamn.
They really brought it.
Yeah. It looks absolutely incredible. All the things that you loved about various different game types are kind of shoved into Fallout 4. So it looks absolutely incredible. On to the game we didn't know what we were going to get. Switch gears a minute to Doom. The new Doom looks good. I think all of us were kind of underwhelmed by how they played the trailer, kind of.
Yeah, a little bit.
Moving kind of slowly through the game, but brutal gore in Doom. Just tons of brutal gore.
Yeah, the chainsaw stuff is just that's mindless and ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's still up in the air. I feel like after watching it, I still don't have a good grasp on what kind of game Doom 4 is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's more horror based. I don't know if it's going to be more arcadey like the original Dooms, because they were playing it so slow.
I think it's going to lean into being more arcadey, because
I think
Doom
so
3
too,
was
but...
a little more horror, or tried to be, and I think
it was very much so
they
horror.
realized that that's not really what people come to Doom for.
It's not their strength. At the time, it was pretty well received, but over time, people's opinion of that game really
I
declined.
don't know. Like, I don't know that for the Doom franchise, like, I don't know that Doom 3 was what they wanted it to be. It was received okay, but, like, it's not a game that people remember in the way that they remember the original Dooms.
Well, sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a really hard legacy to live up to, but still, like, I think that Doom 4 feels like they're going back to their roots a little bit, where it's like, here's what Doom is. It's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be gore everywhere. It's going to be like you're basically a superhero going through hell, killing everything in your path.
There's I don't know if it's surprising is the right word, but one sort of new mechanic for Doom is double jump is in the game. It also appears that you can kind of, I don't know how it worked, but you can kind of absorb falls of any height. It looked like, because he jumped really far in the one part.
Well, there's some stuff that I guess you have to, like, if you're leaning back into the original days of Doom, there was no jumping.
Yeah.
Like, there was there was only one plane. So like that stuff probably will be fine because you have to find a way to make Doom today with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So overall, though, I think by the end of the Doom stuff, we were all pretty hype.
The one brand new thing that they hadn't talked before this about any multiplayer stuff, and it looks like, to me, it just looked like kind of a arena multiplayer, like close quarters style stuff.
Horde mode as well.
But the really cool thing, which, I mean, it seems really cool conceptually, is the snap map stuff. So they're going to have basically like a map editor / game type editor, like almost mod tools within the game. But it looks like it's actually a GUI. It's not like an SDK. It's like
it looked like you could have enemy placements and other things like that as well along with it.
Yeah, like it didn't look like it involved any programming. It looked like it was just like
you could build like a single player campaign in it if you wanted to, which is kind of interesting. And people are gonna like try to extend stuff or something. I don't know.
And then they're linking everything together and not making it platform dependent to where people who make stuff on like Xbox One, PC people can also get that kind of mod onto PC. So that'll be good. I just don't. We have no information as to whether or not it will still be integrated with something like Steam Workshop, or if they're they called it Bethesda Net. If it'll just be like its own entity. I'm really worried if it's not Steam Workshop stuff, because I'd rather it be on Workshop.
It works, like if that technology works the way it looked like it did, and works across platforms, like mods that people make on the PC will be playable on consoles and stuff. That is like. That will be a marvelous technical achievement if it works the way that it looks like it does.
Yeah.
Which is honestly, like, that's always been what id has been good at, is like the technical piece of the work. The games may not always be the best, but they find a way to make the games like very technically adept.
Yeah. And they ended the gameplay sort of stuff with a giant cyber demon at the end, and the BFG, the character started using the BFG 9000, and then they cut like right then.
That shit was so big, dude. Like
huge fucking.
The cyber demon in
badass.
In the original Doom was not like, it wasn't that huge.
Yeah.
It was scary and foreboding, but it wasn't that big. The new cyber demon is like actually huge. It's like a couple stories tall.
Yeah, there's also like the executions in it. I don't know how I feel about them as a gameplay mechanic, but they're fucking fun to watch. I'll tell you that. Fucking character. Go ahead.
That was why I was wondering like how fast paced this game is going to be, because a game that has you pausing during like firefights to execute enemies is probably not going to feel that fast. Like not like the original Doom was, and we only saw at any given time 3 or 4 enemies on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder. It could be really cool.
You won't have to do them. I feel like someone could definitely run through this game quickly, but I think my hope is that there will be enough of the different style executions where you just keep doing them, and like running through the game feels like a movie.
Yeah.
Almost.
I can see that. So we got a good look at that. Hell looks like hell. Like a really good rendition of hell. They showed some of the space station gameplay as well as some gameplay in Hell. The chainsaw is unfucking believable. I'll probably have a link to a trailer in the description of this podcast if you're listening. but he basically rips the jaw off of something at one point in it and like cuts it in, like literally in half, and spreads the body apart with his hands. Like, it is brutal, man.
There was the one big guy with like a kind of Tony Stark like power thing on his chest, and he ripped it out of its chest and then shoved it all the way into its mouth, and then it exploded. So
yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah. So all your classic weapons are in there. They showed the plasma rifle. They showed a scoped assault rifle, which is interesting. A scoped weapon in Doom. There's no ADS, it appears, except for that scoped weapon, which is good. That's a good thing in a Doom game. It looks to me like they really did take some good lessons from seeing what Machine Games did with Wolfenstein and how they resurrected that franchise completely from something that had kind of basically died out and had some really lackluster titles. So
I think the multiplayer piece, if they don't have ADS weapons in the multiplayer, I'm actually way more excited for that.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that we don't really have right now, is a multiplayer shooter that does not have ADS.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I want. Like, I'm tired of ADS shooters.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I like Dirty Bomb right now is because you don't have to ADS other than with a sniper.
Yeah, Dirty Bomb is like the closest we have right now. But I feel like Doom has never had a strong multiplayer component. That there's no reason it can't be a strong multiplayer. It's just that it never has been.
It hasn't happened, yeah.
Yeah. So they did show a trailer after I turned off the stream. Was anything good in there? I guess spring 2016 release though for Doom.
I didn't. Yeah, I also turned off. I didn't see that.
The trailer looked cool. I didn't see the release date though.
Yeah, that's what I was seeing. Someone in chat said. But of course, as we talked about earlier, Fallout 4 kind of blew everything else away.
They showed off way more than I ever thought that anybody would with the game. Well, not necessarily a game announcement, but just the first time kind of showing off a lot of the facets of it.
Yeah.
So that was way too much.
They went into the amount of depth that you should go into in a press conference like that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like that is how
it's a precedent.
That is how you show off your showcase game.
And hearing, obviously, it's, you know, you can say it's, you know, just like sort of PR speak or whatever you want to call it, but just hearing him say, we knew we had to take our time and be really careful with how we made this game and make it what you guys wanted. Like, and it really seems like they did that.
The way that they're approaching it is so refreshing.
Some reverence for it.
Exactly. They had reverence for the franchise that they made. It wasn't like we made this so we can fuck it up however we want. It was literally just like we have to. Exactly. It's like we have to do this justice.
Yeah, and a lot of developers, especially big ones, have fallen into the trap of either annualizing, watering down, whatever you want to call it, taking franchises that were very revered and turning them into just garbage.
Yep.
And they could have easily done that. Like, they could have done a much, I don't know if worse is even the right word, but they could have done a lot less with Fallout 4 than it appears that they have done, and still had a hit, obviously. Yep. But they have really taken that game to another level. Like, just unbelievable.
My hope is that it's kind of like The Witcher, in that there's not like stuff on top where you can like pay for something else on top of like the money you spend on the game. My hope is like it's a $60 game.
Yeah.
It's, you know, you're going to get a ton of playtime out of it, but that's what it is. We're not going to try and get you to buy like $5 add-ons and other like silly stuff. Like, the core game is what it is, and it will come at a $60 price tag, but it's going to be amazing. That's
I mean, at least with the companion game, the Fallout Shelter game, I mean, that being not needing an internet connection, then also not being freemium, like that's a good sign, I guess, because that's what I was afraid of when they were starting to announce it. It's like, oh, microtransactions, here they come, but apparently that's not the case. So,
yeah, like we went over some of this. Like the iOS game looks really good. There's an actual Pip-Boy that you can get that has like companion games.
Because of course there is.
Yeah. There's going to be, along with that Pip-Boy, you won't need that. You can get like an iOS and Android version of the app that's on it, which is basically a second screen experience. But it doesn't sound like the good thing about the iOS game and stuff is that as you said, Mark, there's no like, hey, pay $1 and this building builds
and
faster.
this goes faster. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
None of that is in there. They had complete reverence for the fans and the fan base of this game. And they took 7 years to do it, and it looks like it was time well spent so far. It really does look like it was time well spent.
I'm also glad that a big, like, reputable game developer called out what everybody fucking hates about mobile games.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just like none of that shit is in
straight,
here.
Like, look, we know that nobody actually likes that shit. Nobody likes to play a game that you have to pay.
Also, the same thing with collector's editions, while also announcing their own collector's edition Pip-Boy thing. So
yeah.
I don't. It's a little tongue in cheek, but also kind of like, well, I mean, you're fucking talking shit about something that you're literally doing right now. I don't really find that intriguing.
Is, though, at least if you're gonna make a collector's edition, like that's actually a pretty cool collector's edition. Like I mean,
it's nice. As long as there aren't 9 fucking versions of an edition to buy for the game, then I'm happy, because I can't see another Watch Dogs and having like 13 different versions for the game depending on the retailer you buy it from. It's so obnoxious. I mean, versions that you can't even buy if you're not in a certain region. Like there were regions, there were European versions of Watch Dogs that you could not get if you weren't in Europe. It was very silly.
Did that upset you? Did you want all of the versions of Watch Dogs?
Yeah, I wanted them all. I wanted all of that hat DLC,
Watch Dogs Master,
and foil cards.
Yeah. So, Fallout 4, basically, you create what we assume anyway is your parents. Are we assuming that still? Or is it like
okay? So it was kind of interesting. He said that it was 200 years later. So either there's some kind of like preservation mechanic, like a machine in your vault, like a cryo chamber or something, or the vault. Like a couple people made it to the vault. Mm-hmm. And then you're like one of the descendants of those people 200 years later. But for whatever reason, something happened in the vault, because the key is it said you're the sole survivor that came out 200 years later. So either something happened to the people who survived inside the vault, like there was an outbreak, like a disease that only you were immune to, something like that, or your character was the only one who made it to the vault and then was preserved for 200 years.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the character that came out of the vault kind of looked like the guy whenever they were doing the character creation. And they ended on him, and it sounded like it was like, these are your parents. This is what you'll kind of look like once you get out of the vault. These two people fucked, and there you go. That's what you get.
And made you. Better get used to that concept. So, like, I guess for those of you who are listening that didn't see it, like who didn't actually watch it, first off, go watch it. But
yes,
we didn't really hear what they said because we were all kind of like making jokes and screaming because it was awesome. But I think what he said was that you get to like, so you have character creation, but for your parents, not for you. Mm-hmm. And I think what he said was, you know, your decisions are going to determine what the baby looks like. So you create two characters, and your character ends up looking like an amalgamation of the two.
Yeah,
which is really, really cool.
I'm seeing from chat here that you're the same guy. Apparently,
you're the same guy
because the robot is like, "Hey, what's up?" You know?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. You're right. It was just while we were watching it, we're also talking to each other, so I missed some points that they were saying as they were going through the comments. So
it starts out that way. 200 years later, you can play. Then they announce in first person or third person, or like back the camera out. Like
that's pretty standard for Fallout, though.
And then you can customize fucking everything.
Oh my god, yeah,
everything. You end up making a settlement eventually, like a whole town, not just your own house. You can completely customize all that stuff. That town
you do build your own house.
Yeah,
and you suck at Ark.
And you can be. Then you do like some tower defense shit on the town. Like raiders will come by and like try to take out your town, so you need defenses.
And I'm wondering if that's like an online component. Is it going to be always on? Is it opt out? Is it like an invasion thing like Dark Souls? Like there's a lot of implications that they didn't hammer out.
Yeah. So
I'm really interested.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Go back and watch it. They spent 30 minutes of the press conference on Fallout, if not more, on Fallout 4.
As they should.
So, other things they did. We talked about Doom a little. Dishonored 2 was in there. And it looks like it takes place after the events of Dishonored 1, but I really couldn't tell a time. Like, I felt like it was way in the future. Like,
it felt like it,
yeah. From now, even.
It seemed like it, except the clothing that like, I guess who the bad guy is. Like, he wasn't wearing modern clothing at all, so.
Yeah. And you can play as a new character, female character, or you can play as the dude from the first game, apparently. So, yeah. Emily is the other character you can play as. That's the other character.
Was Emily the little girl from the first one?
Yes, she was. Chat's telling me that now. I did not play Dishonored. Believe it.
Oh, okay.
But it looks really good. They didn't show. I mean, it looks like kind of standard Dishonored gameplay. What we saw, lots of blinking around and sneaking and all that good stuff. But the tech looks crazy in Dishonored 2.
It does look pretty impressive.
Yeah, so it looks amazing. To me, it reminded me of Human Revolution, Deus Ex Human Revolution. So that was kind of the game I was thinking of in there. They also showed off. This was the low point, I guess, of the press conference, which was good to stick it. Brandon playing Fallout Shelter right now on his iPhone.
Oh, you bastard!
There were two other games they talked about. Battleborn was one, which is like not very good looking.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah,
I mean, compared to everything else, it just looked janky as shit. The animations were really bad. It didn't really explain itself well in what kind of game it is, other than it just being class-based team shooter, whatever. I don't know, just like some kind of competition to Overwatch and TF2. That's all I got out of it.
Oh, it's Battlecry. Excuse me, Battleborn's the other game by Gearbox,
which is insanely poor timing on those.
Yeah,
having very, very similar names. But even not even compared to the other things that looked like Doom looked good. Of course, Fallout 4 looked good and Dishonored looked good. But even if they hadn't looked particularly good, this game would still stand out as looking like shit. Like it looked so bad, and I don't like. On one hand, it kind of looked like a frame rate issue, but on the other hand, the animation just might be really shitty.
Yeah,
but
it's a beta.
It was most notable between the first woman who came up and she was wielding this gigantic sword, and every time she kept going in between attacks, it was like it was missing frames in between the animations. They didn't flow well.
Exactly, there was like no between frames. Like it looked like either they're going for an aesthetic that's just not a good idea.
It looked like Special Forces Team X.
Yeah, exactly. When Dan said that, I was like, holy shit, he is right.
Either they're going for a certain like animation style that just isn't working out well, or this shit was not ready to be shown.
Yeah.
They also announced Hearthstone.
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
They sure did.
I just blocked it out.
An Elder Scrolls card game. I honestly don't even remember. Like Legends of Tamriel or something like that, I think was the name. It's Hearthstone with Elder Scrolls stuff, like quite literally.
Heroes of Tamriel.
Yeah, it was Hearthstone. So they really saw that card game thing is really, really working well for people out there.
They just really want to be Blizzard.
So they are coming out with that as well, and they also showed some Elder Scrolls Online, and no one cared. Like literally, the entire chat was.
Nothing but Resident Sleeper, yeah. Pretty great.
So yeah, overall, goddamn, it man, Fallout 4. It's all you should really care about from what we're saying. Doom looks good too, but Fallout 4.
Yeah, but Fallout
and Dishonored.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, and if you like Dishonored,
has a long way to go though, because Dishonored 1 was like decent, but not much more.
Yeah, if you like Dishonored, I mean, you will definitely be hyped for Dishonored 2. you will see it and you'll be like, this looks great. Yeah. So that was what we just did before this short podcast that we're doing right now. So moving on, tomorrow, if you're watching this live, Mark and I will be live all day with Microsoft, EA, Ubisoft, and Sony on the KBMOD Twitch channel and on Mark's channel all day, making fun of those press conferences. And really, what can they announce tomorrow that matters after Fallout 4? Like, it really... The way they presented that, like, good fucking luck.
Somebody, someone linked to me, someone did a bunch of bingo cards for each individual conference, and they're actually really well done, and they have some good options in them, so I'm taking them and putting them onto images for tomorrow's stream.
Yeah.
These are really good. Like, if you're doing a drinking game, you're going to fucking die. It's absolutely going to happen. So, moving on from that, make sure to tune in tomorrow. We'll have tons and tons of stuff next week, along with our special guest, Shannon Z. Killer, will be on the podcast next week. I'm sure she'll have a thing or two to say about Fallout 4. She seemed pretty pumped on Twitter.
I wasn't expecting to be as excited as I am now about. Like, I enjoyed the Fallout games, but I don't know. I was really stoked.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
I didn't care about Fallout at all. Fully admit that. And now I really care about Fallout. I really want Fallout 4. So, some little tidbits of news from this week. There isn't much out there. The new AMD video cards leaked as far as their pricing. It's pretty cheap, as you would expect from AMD. No one knows how they're going to perform versus the 970 and the 980. But the highest end one is like $389, which is not a bad price, but who knows where that'll slot in.
Are we not going to talk about what we played?
Do you want to?
I mean, yeah.
All right, we can do that. Fine, Brandon.
Gives the people what they want.
What video games did you play this week, Brandon? You can start us out. There you go.
I played. So last night I played quite a bit of Dirty Bomb, and I think there are times where I really enjoy that game. And last night I was playing with probably 5 or 6 other people, and there was just a real faint feeling of enemy territory. It was pretty faint. Like, basically, what I said last night when I was playing is like, someone hadn't played enemy territory, or they hadn't played Dirty Bomb, and I was like, well, it's a worse enemy territory, which is like the best compliment I can give a game, frankly.
Yeah.
So I've been playing quite a bit of that. I still am very on the fence about their monetization stuff. Yeah. Because like some of the prices for their stuff is just like really nuts. But the game itself is pretty good. It's gotten a lot better, and I like playing with a group is a lot of fun. Which can be said for any game, but I feel like that game, the teamwork required is kind of on the level of enemy territory. I feel like where if you're playing against a team that has 3, 4, 5 people that are kind of coordinating, it's very hard to win, which is what I like. So I played that a bit. Played The Witcher more. I finally, I think, solved the problem I was having, which is basically that The Witcher does not like variable frame rates. When I capped the frame rate at 60, it works. It works great. So it's weird stuff, but so I'm enjoying that more now that I capped the frame rate and the game. I mean, the game looks gorgeous. It looks the way it should.
Yeah. So I figured out what my problem was, by the way, too, with Witcher. I had a bad SLI bridge. So I wasn't getting full performance out of my SLI, and actually it was making games run worse. So I got a new SLI bridge, and now I get like 100 plus FPS in The Witcher, and it's great.
It looks fantastic. Yeah.
There you go.
It's lovely.
Yeah, so played more of The Witcher. I'm still I think I'm going to take my time with it, just because it's one of those games that I don't it's not drawing me in to just play constantly, but every now and then I'm like, oh yeah, I should play some Witcher, and I get a few hours out of it and enjoy it. Lastly, obviously I played Hearthstone, I played a little bit of League, the normal stuff, but lastly, last night, because Dirty Bomb was giving me some nostalgia feels, decided to boot up some Tribes Ascend.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
And that did not give you any good fields.
No, actually, no, here's the thing. That's why I bring it up, because So the saddest thing is that there is literally one server that I can join that was populated, and it was a 24/7 Stonehenge server. And Stonehenge is like one of the worst maps in Tribes. So it's like it's sad because I wanted to play, and like there were like 3 populated servers that were only level 1 through 10, so I couldn't join those. And then there were like 2, I don't know. Oh, two of the servers were strikes only, or like free strikes. So like, why on earth would you play that? And then the last one was 24/7 Stonehenge. So I was like, fine, you know what? This is the only choice. So I joined 24/7 Stonehenge. I actually had a great time. Like, that game is so good, and it makes me mad that it's not populated anymore, because that game is amazing. I topped the scoreboard with ease. It was like riding a bike.
That's not why the game's good, though, you guys.
I am awaiting your YouTube tutorials again, Brandon.
Oh no! So the funniest thing, I was playing with a couple other guys in Mumble, and and someone was like, "I wonder if you'll get recognized." I was like, "I bet you I will." Literally, like 5 minutes later, a guy's like, "Hey, Volition, really like your videos."
Hey man, when you coming back to YouTube?
The poor forgotten kids.
So anyway, yeah, Tribes is just it's so sad. Like, even playing on one of the bad CTF maps was still like a great time. So,
I just imagine those people that are still playing Tribes are like stuck in time. They don't even realize that the game has been abandoned, and
they don't realize it's 2015.
And they're like, Brandon, man, I saw your video yesterday. It's like, dude, it's been like 10 years. What are you talking about?
Sitting in IRC talking about the next patch.
Yeah, I actually saw.
They're like, I saw your video yesterday. Like, exactly the same. It's just this weird Groundhog Day. Like,
I checked out the Tribes subreddit, and there was a guy who had made a skiing routes video for one of the maps, and he just published it the other day. I was like, dude, do you not understand?
You know who the fuck I am?
I was like, this guy put time into this video. Does he not realize, like, what the state the game is in?
30 people.
He might not, actually.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a nice little dose of nostalgia, even though, like, that game is only really like 3.5 years old, but it feels like a lifetime ago that it was relevant, and it's just it's so sad.
Even I miss it from time to time, but I've never installed it because I feel afraid of my reaction towards it just being dead, and I want to play it so badly, so I just don't do it.
Yeah, it would be a great game for like community nights if you could just get like one server that would have that would be populated.
Yeah,
because honestly, that's all it takes to enjoy that game for me. It's just sad that like there was actually literally one server that I could play in. Mm-hmm. That if there were like 5 servers that were populated, I would probably still play it with on a regular basis. But it sucks. That community is just like completely gone.
So I'll go next because I'll kind of go off this notion of community nights and reviving old games. We had our Black Ops 1 community night this week, and we populated a server completely and played some domination on Black Ops 1, and it was a fucking blast.
Yeah, I fucking destroyed all of you, by the way.
Just hopped in the server and went 55-10 and then left. Lord. Like, that was it's just like total destruction. But that game is still really fun. But you know what? The people you're talking about on Tribes that haven't stopped playing Tribes, there are dudes who have not stopped playing Black Ops 1. They are still playing Black Ops 1. Like, and they all came out and saw that one domination server on the entire planet was populated, and they were like, it's our time. It's our time, boys.
And then they ran into me, and they had a bad time.
Like, oh man, it was
the game's
so
really
fun.
Fucking good, by the way.
It is really fucking good. Especially domination. Like, god damn, it's such a good game. Yeah, Esports Athlete was unstoppable on the server. John's fucking Steam name. But yeah, we had a really good time playing that. It's still a really good game. There's still somehow, like, for as much bullshit that is in almost all Call of Duty games after Call of Duty 4, like, none of it really upsets me in Black Ops still. Because there's a way to counter everything in that game. And it's well done. Like, if somebody gets a chopper gunner, well, you shouldn't have let them get a chopper gunner. Like
Chopper goner.
you shouldn't have let that happen. And then you can just shoot it down too. Oh man, it was so good. I also played a bit of Witcher 3 this week. I'm like 18 or 19 hours into the campaign. It's really damn good still. And I also played some BF4 this week. Also pretty damn fun.
I did that too.
Yeah,
Fun.
It's a good game. But for me, that was about it. Besides the sort of standard stuff. Mark, what have you played this week, sir?
Well, this week, other than Counter-Strike, which I still play pretty much every day, I'm playing that at least twice a day now because I became friends with Flom, who is a pro player.
Yes.
Currently benched, but a pro player. And he has started full-time streaming now that he is benched, and he streams 2 times a day.
Yeah,
so I usually play with him.
That fucker. Been yelling at him for months.
And so I've been doing that. I think I've put 70 hours in the past couple of weeks into Counter-Strike, so I'm going pretty strong every day on that. But I've been playing through D4 now that it's on PC. I've been doing that on stream. I played about 3 hours of it. I don't know if any of you guys have dipped into that game, but it is fucking amazing in comparison to what Swery did with Deadly Premonition. Like, the humor is still the same. If you play Deadly Premonition at all, you'll understand the absurdity in D4, but it is so much more well executed in D4.
It looked good. We talked about it.
It's kind of like playing a Telltale game, I guess, but without dialogue options and just absurd anime humor. Like whenever you do combat sequences and you do the QuickTime events for it, everything is just over the top. Or you can pick up items that are in the environment, and he'll just interact with them in a stupid way. Like, he'll pick up a hockey trophy that he's had since he was a kid and just thrust it in the air like he just was victorious again. It's just really stupid and out of the ballpark. But so far, I'm enjoying it a lot. It's kind of hard to follow a little bit if you're not paying attention because a lot of the characters are just way out there, super out there, and it can kind of throw you out of the story a little bit, especially with, well, I'm not going to spoil anything because, I mean, discovering the characters is probably like 90% of the game and just enjoying them for the first time you meet them. But I would definitely recommend it to anybody who is into really absurd humor, or if you like anime and the humor that is used in that. It's very well done, and it's a lot better than anything else that Swery's done. And I hope that bringing it to PC will get him enough sales to continue the story, because I guess that I haven't finished it yet. But I mean, it's just called Season 1. I'm pretty sure that he wants to continue it, but needed more budget. So I hope it's successful.
So, Blah, you're next here. What have you been playing?
I played the slots, baby.
Oh yeah, you went to Vegas. That's right.
I went to Vegas for the first time, and that was a blast. Didn't think I was gonna be like a guy who would really enjoy Vegas, but I mean, the company was good, and you know, I kind of finally understood.
Company to enjoy Vegas, to be clear.
Well, I feel like going around Vegas alone would get old really fast because I'm not like huge on gambling.
Yeah.
I did gamble. I gambled a fair amount. I left like maybe $200 down, which in Vegas is not bad at all. That's, as Brandon said, that's practically winning in Vegas. Especially because those $200 came as, you know, a cost of entertainment, and you get drinks while you're gambling and all that good stuff. So, you know, I played them slots, played that. I actually, some people might not know, I have like a huge fear of heights. It's like my number one fear is I don't do roller coasters, I don't do Ferris wheels, and my friends convinced me to go on a 55-foot Ferris wheel. So I finally confronted my fear of heights, which I've had since I was a kid. And this was probably the best possible way to do it, because it wasn't a Ferris wheel where they like strap you in and you just sit there with like a buddy or two, and then you go up and you go down. This was a half-hour ride inside a giant pod that had a bar that had a bartender inside.
Terrible. A half hour?
A half hour with a bartender inside the pod. A fully stocked bar.
They give you HJs too, or like
you would think like it was that
like a half hour of a Ferris wheel doesn't even sound fun even with a bartender. Like HJs is the only thing that makes that tolerable.
Actually fun. I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more if I wasn't like shaking all over, but in that half hour, I managed to drink 3 hairy navels, so that was fun. I mean, tickets were like $45, which, considering the ride and however many drinks you can get in half an hour, is like really not bad. And that was fun. You know, I was up there with all my friends. We got lumped in with another party. They were all super nice, and I was like panicking the whole time, but it wasn't as bad as I thought I'd be. But at the same time, it wasn't like. It wasn't like a super bad heights experience because, I mean, like I said, I was in like a giant pod with seating and a bar, so it was a good time. And as far as games I've been playing, I guess the only new thing I've been playing is Splatoon, which is actually really good, by the way.
Nice.
I know it's like not a PC game and whatnot.
No.
I'm actually sitting here holding a fucking Wii U gamepad, and I have Master Chief on my shirt. Why am I on this podcast? Like, I failed you all.
You're a fraud.
I am. But Splatoon is actually like surprisingly really fucking good. I don't know if anybody's like, please just do yourself a favor. If you just kind of wrote it off as a Nintendo game, if you haven't actually seen any gameplay, just watch a stream of it for a little bit because it's super interesting. Because it's like it's a legitimate like 4v4 online like shooter, and it's weird that Nintendo decided to do that because like holy shit, Nintendo finally realized it's 2015. But instead of trying to kill people, you're trying to paint as much of the map as possible. So everybody has an assorted number of paint weapons. You can customize your character a whole bunch and have different stats and gear and weapons. And then the goal is to not to kill other people, but to paint as much as possible. Now, killing people actually does help because when you kill somebody with your paint, they explode into your color paint, and
so
and then it puts
beneficial.
Yeah, it is beneficial, but it's not the goal. So I've had games where like I felt like we were getting out fragged like terribly, like we were getting fucked up, and then right at the end we just happened to kill all 4 of them and then just sweep the map with all of our paint and we just won. And the matches are only like 2 minutes long, which actually works really well for chaining matches back to back really quickly. And what probably the most cool mechanic, I don't even know how they did this technically. You have the ability to swim very quickly through your own ink, but not through other people's ink. Not through the other team's ink. So if you're team green and their team purple, you can only swim through green ink. So you spray kind of your way, and there's this really cool advanced like movement mechanic involved. So people can like cut off. You could be swimming down a stream of green ink, and then purple just cuts off your stream, and then you can't go any further in squid form. And also when you're in enemy ink, you're significantly slowed down. So it's kind of the ever-shifting battlefield. You have to constantly be aware of where your team's paint is and play around that. It's actually like really well done. It's not a perfect game. There's quite a few downsides to it. There's only 2 maps available at any given time. There's 5 maps total, but they cycle 2 in every couple hours, which is really stupid.
That is weird.
And it needs more content. It needs more unlockables. It needs more maps for sure. But other than that, honestly, really good game. Awesome. And I've actually been playing some CSGO. I'm enjoying Operation Bloodhound. I solo queued some competitive maps. I asked a bunch of people over voice chat whether or not they smoked meth.
That was my YOLO queue experience.
Really running the bases there.
Yeah. So I made sure all my bases were covered. And I'm actually doing okay. I'm Gold Nova Master, I think, which is like probably way higher than I should be. I don't know how high that is on the grand scale.
I placed DMG after not playing for 6 months, so who knows what's going on.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know anything about it. Because like I'm sitting here playing.
You're actually
like,
a CS prodigy, Dan.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm sitting here playing like one of the missions. One of the missions was to win 16 rounds on train, and somebody was like, "Oh yeah, they're in Vine." And I'm like, "I don't know what that means. I don't know any of the call outs." I'm like, he's over there in the corner. I think that's by Long.
Vine's not a call out. Usually it's called Ivy, I guess is what you
mean.
I'm probably
used to be Ivy. Yeah.
Ivy
There's no Ivy on it anymore, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's just people still call it that.
So for people who are new to the game, you have this area that's not covered in ivy, and it's called Ivy. It's you don't know it yet, so like I really need to actually play with people to learn the maps if I ever want to like get okay at that game. But I mean, I was mostly going positive, so I'm doing okay.
All right, not to rush us along, John. Did you play anything interesting this week?
A little bit of Dirty Bomb. Really fucking good at it, which is nice. That always helps.
Are you good at video games, John? Like,
no, not really. But Dirty Bomb, for whatever reason, I am, just because it's fast and I aim good. And then just WoW, they announced that flying's going to come back in 6.2, so I got to finish I got to finish the prereqs.
Yeah, the prerequisites I still have to do as well.
I'm done with all of them except the daily Apexis missions, so I can just do those. But Other than that, not really too much. Dirty Bomb's a lot of fun. There's just this performance problem with it, and I can't figure out what it is. That like halfway through a map, it just starts to chug along, and then I have to restart at the end of every map. Computer. That's probably it too. It's really weird. I don't know what it is, but the game runs really well, and then like an objective blows up, and then it just goes to shit until the map's over. So I don't know.
So. All right, guys, we're going to quickly move through news. If you're hearing this on audio, the reason this is shorter and kind of rushed is because we were already live for like 2 hours doing the Bethesda stuff. As for news, I talked about AMD a little bit earlier. We don't know what performance is with AMD, but the prices seem pretty good on those cards. No idea when the new AMD cards are coming out. Also, Oculus Rift had their press conference a couple days ago. A bunch of new games were announced. A controller that's going to go with the Rift when it comes out.
The controller looked interesting.
Yeah, it's a weird looking thing.
It's like a little donut looking thing.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it has like tracking on it, but the headset also comes with these like shit ass dick earphones on it, and I'm just kind of like. I kind of just want to wear my own headset, not use your shitty headphone thing on the side. I don't understand why anyone would use those. But Q1 2016, the Rift will be out consumer. I think it's 300. I think is what it's going to be. Something like that. But yeah, it's like a weird one-handed LED tracking controller thing. So yeah, Oculus Rift will be coming out Q1 2016. Street Fighter V had its systems sort of detailed.
I saw that too.
Which is big change from how the series used to go. This is sort of the thing in a lot of fighting games. You have your super meter and your ultra meter. It's called different things in different games, but kind of the concept remains the same. And the basic thing now is that you can do super moves at any time, sort of. You don't need to build meter to do them. They're all called V meters now. It's very weird. Very weird. I feel like my basement's gonna flood. Holy shit.
It
sounds like
I know, man.
That shit's coming down.
There's nothing I can do about that. It's rain. Tons of rain.
I like that, Dan. Shower or rain.
Yeah.
You have a shower literally right next to your PC.
Yeah. So,
you gotta keep it cool.
Yeah, Ryu can parry like he used to be able to back in the day. That's like one of his sort of special moves that's built in. So if you really are into fighting games and you want to read up on those, they have a big article on SureYouCan.com with a lot of details on the changes to systems there, but it's a hell of a lot different. You will not always have Ultra, like you don't build it up by getting hit, which was kind of the mechanic for multiple games. So yeah, Street Fighter V, looking good, coming out in 2016. Another sort of, not big announcement, but I am really excited for this, so we're going to talk about it real quick. Shadow Warrior 2 is coming out next year. If you did not play the first Shadow Warrior, you need to. It's so good. It's done by the dudes who did Hard Reset. Super good sort of throwback shooter. Also, it looks fucking amazing.
Yeah, I still never beat it. I put a few hours into it, but I never beat it. I should go back and do it.
It's so
long.
Is
it really?
Yeah. It's like 20
How long
hours,
is it?
dude.
Good God, for a shooter?
Fuck. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
So Shadow Warrior 2 is confirmed. Devolver Digital is publishing it. It will have 4-player co-op, which is fucking awesome. I think that's so good. More Wang for everybody. And it's only coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. As I've said multiple times in this podcast, I'll say it again. If you are abandoning the old consoles, better for everybody. So good that it's not coming out in the old consoles. So that is kind of it for the news on this shortened episode. Up next, just a couple viewer questions. First, from Aaron the Enigma. An interesting question, because I really don't want to be haunted by anybody. If you had to be haunted by the ghost of a dead celebrity, who would it be and why? I don't want to be haunted by anybody, man.
Is Guy Fieri still alive?
Yes.
Casper the Friendly Ghost. He's super
Sadly,
helpful.
Casper's super laid back. Yeah, he's
So you want Casper to die again, and then be haunted, and then haunt you. He's pretty.
I mean, the question doesn't pose that the person has to already be dead. So I guess that you can
ghost of a dead celebrity.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that they have to be dead right now.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That.
And you
just
have to
that when they die, you would be haunted by them.
Exactly.
You have to take
I
a lot
feel like
into
the
account.
intent of the question is that they're already dead, though.
Yeah.
If they're already dead, I think that makes it a lot harder.
Billy Mays.
A lot of the people who died. Billy Mays! Like, you would just make everything
3 in
so
the morning,
exciting.
he just wakes you up.
You would just wake up, like, because if he's like a friendly haunt, maybe he could help you wake up in the morning, like you set your alarm, he's like, Billy Mays here, you're oversleeping!
As his head pops out of your chest because he's a ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds horrifying.
Exactly. It sounds great.
Billy
and, you have to take a couple
Mays
things. You have to take a lot into account.
He could actually legitimately haunt you just because of the shock factor.
Yep, that's true.
I mean, he died from doing a bunch of coke and having a heart attack. So I mean, he's hyped,
I don't know
dude. He's hyped.
Yeah, he would really. He would make everything very exciting. It would just be hard to relax.
I guess the question is, when you die, are you taking the physical form of what your state was when you died? So if you were really fucking hyped up when you died, you just stay that way forever.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you were in a coma when you died, you're just the most boring ghost that's ever existed.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that one wouldn't be too bad. Every now and then you turn around a corner and he's spookily floating there in a bed, but
yeah,
for the most part, it's like that's
just
not
hooked
too
up
bad.
to a respirator. It's like, God, this guy sucks. You need to stop being so boring.
See, then you live with this constant, is he gonna wake up today? I'm gonna be fucking terrified.
I mean, if he's always like that, as Sham is putting forth, I feel like eventually you just get used to it, and then you just wouldn't even notice him anymore. You know what I mean? You would be amazed at what human beings can get used to after a while.
True.
So I'm gonna say that's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's very.
You would over time. I feel like you just would stop flinching at anything because you'd be so used to it.
You'd be so used to being haunted.
Yeah, someone in chat stole it, but I was gonna say Mitch Hedberg because I feel like he would just kind of follow you around and make funny, calm observations.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one. That'd be very good. Yeah, I kind of wanted a singer like Sinatra or somebody because that would sound pretty nice. But he's super racist.
Yeah,
he would anytime I met anybody who wasn't white, he'd have some fucking remark to say, and it'd just be like, shut the fuck up, Sinatra. They'd be like, what? That's the other thing. Can other people see your haunt? It's only you.
Yeah.
It's only you.
That makes it less enjoyable, though.
Well, it kind of makes it more because now you're just talking to thin air. People are around.
Oh, I do that all the time anyway.
Tupac isn't dead. Fuck you, Dan. I do like the idea of Mitch Hedberg, though. I mean, that just a chill ghost that just kind of converses with you.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
Makes great
just like a ghost that kind of makes observations, and you're just like, oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Thanks, Mitch.
Or maybe Carlin, because Carlin's also really funny, but I mean, he's so angry that I need somebody to I wouldn't feel as angry because I have somebody who's already that angry to counterbalance me. I would feel like I need to be the more calm one. So overall, I think having Carlin around would really chill me out.
All right. Next question from GrimAngel01 on Twitter. What would be the biggest disappointment for each of you at this year's E3? Biggest disappointment.
Missing my flight tomorrow.
What, a lack of an announcement, or just a certain thing being announced, or something happening?
I think it could be anything.
Yeah.
If No Man's Sky has another trailer and they still don't fucking explain what this game is supposed to be,
and if nobody can play it yet,
it better be playable. It better be playable. I think the biggest disappointment for me would be Dark Souls 3 looking really underwhelming, which I think is a distinct possibility.
I can understand that.
Really?
Yeah, I really am not. I don't know about this.
You're scared? You're scared?
Yeah. Annualizing Dark Souls is essentially what's happening.
It is coming out really fast.
I don't like
that's
it.
Yeah,
upsetting.
you're right. It does seem like a game of that caliber needs a lot more fine tuning and also just extra boss design to not make things rehash as much as possible.
Yeah, if they can confirm that Dark Souls 3 was in development like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, fine. But Dark Souls 2 just came out, and Bloodborne just came out.
Bloodborne just came out, and Dark
How
Souls
big is
2
that studio? That's the question.
Yeah.
Like, how big? How big?
Nobody
Like,
knows.
I don't feel like From Software is like a 1,000+ person team.
No, it's not. And the thing is, like, Dark Souls 2 was made by the B team. Miyazaki did not make it, who's the guy who made Dark Souls.
Yeah.
He didn't make it. He made Bloodborne at the same time that Dark Souls 2 was being made.
It's a little upsetting.
You can tell.
The most up-to-date company information on Wikipedia says that they had 227 employees. Now, there may be more now. That was over a year ago that this number was there. So, I mean, it's still pretty... that's a decent size.
Yeah, but...
Not huge, though.
I mean, they got Sony money, I'm sure, for the game, but, like... I don't know about
Dark Souls
this.
2 only came out like a little over a year ago.
Yeah,
and you're right. Bloodborne literally just came out.
Yeah.
That does feel very fast.
Yeah.
I mean, they've only confirmed it's coming out. Have they set a date?
Q1 2016.
Yeah, and Dark Souls 2 was 2014 in fucking
2
March.
years
Like
after
that's
Dark
just
Souls 2. I don't know.
Like, I get that the game is popular, but like this is how you kill a really good franchise.
Yeah.
This is Guitar Hero all over again. Guitar Hero is one game a year.
I don't like it.
Well, at least with something
that.
like Guitar
Assassin's
Hero,
Creed.
innovations on top of that idea, I guess, come a little bit easier, even though they didn't fucking do anything with them. But Dark Souls seems like a game that takes 3 to 5 years to really hone in on something.
I mean, Demon Souls and Dark Souls were like 3 years apart, I think. And then Dark Souls 2 was like 5 years after Dark Souls 1. So
I mean, I guess like Dark Souls 2 and Bloodborne were both really well received. So, I just wonder how long they could keep that quality up if they do keep churning out releases like that.
So I think that would be mine. There's some stuff.
Another Call of Duty game.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, that's already announced, Chad.
Can't wait to see some gameplay there.
Well, let me tell you why that game's going to suck, and it's going to suck because it's coming out on PS3 and 360.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my God! Why are they doing that?
It's one of the biggest entertainment franchises. Of course it is.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck about actually making a good game. They don't have to make good games.
I bet it would make your head spin how many copies they sell on the old consoles.
The thing is,
it probably would.
The thing is, I'm kind of somewhat hyped for Black Ops 3 because Black Ops 1 and 2
I'm probably
are
going to
both
play
good.
it.
Black Ops 2 was a very good game.
Ops 2
as long as the PC port is fine, I am all for a brainless fucking multiplayer shooter to hop around on for a few weeks. Like, I'll probably play it just as long as it runs well. That's it.
Yeah.
And has FOV stutter.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
There you go.
We'll see. 91 FPS. Shout outs to...
No, they didn't cap Black Ops 2.
Yeah, so that would be that for me. All right, last question from @LOLGrouch. What's the best food item to bring to a potluck? Chips and soda cannot be an answer. I mean,
fucking whole pig.
A whole pig. There you go.
Apple in its mouth.
John wins.
I don't know. I mean, is there anything specific that you have a family recipe for? I mean, my parents used to bring macaroni and cheese because they had a mac and cheese recipe. But I mean,
and you don't even need a mac and cheese recipe.
Potatoes.
Mac and cheese is that's a legitimate answer. Don't even worry.
I mean, just think of anything that's conducive to a full meal. Just some kind of side dish, and you'll be fine. Even if somebody else brings mac and cheese, people fucking love macaroni and cheese. They want as many bowls of that shit as they can shovel down their gullets. So keep bringing it.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Make a huge pot of ramen. Just show up with a bunch of fucking like Easy Mac and ramen and like McDonald's burgers.
Can I use your microwave real quick?
You start stirring that shit up at the potluck.
Hey, look, all I'm gonna say, a while ago, we had I think it was a Harry Potter marathon we were doing at a friend's house. So a whole bunch of us came over, and our friend Eric Falcius on Twitch showed up with like 12 Wendy's hamburgers, and we were like, "What the? Why? Why did you bring this? Like nobody, like we were gonna order food and everything. Nobody like said, "Hey, bring some food." But he showed up with 12 McDonald's burgers. And we were all like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then we ate all of them. Nothing to go to waste.
Yeah,
and you were like, "That was a good call."
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Like we talk shit, but he was right. You know what? He was right to bring those burgers. And all I'm gonna say is just bring a bunch of fucking ravioli. Forget what you heard. Like everybody says, there's no like you need a specific time for ravioli. I disagree wholeheartedly.
I'll say the best thing I think you can bring, just without knowing any prior context about what others are bringing. Okay. But if I'm just taking a shot in the dark, best food item you can bring to a potluck: homemade banana pudding.
Oh God, yes.
Ooh,
Yes. Because where I grew up, like that was what people made as a specialty was banana pudding.
That's what I mean,
it would not
right?
It would not stay on the table. Yeah. It wouldn't.
It's like it's unique enough that someone else probably won't bring it, and like people want to try it. Like you'll be the hit of the party.
And if you don't put vanilla wafers and actual banana slices in that shit, you are fucking stupid.
Oh, that's
all right?
I mean, like
you better do it right.
Given. That's a given. All right, if you're like, I'm not even going to entertain the fact that someone would try and make a banana pudding without either of those things.
Yeah. God, I'm down with like a good pasta/potato salad.
Yes.
A good one.
Yeah.
A good
potato salad.
Shitty
one.
Yep.
Whole pig.
Pasta salad easier to do.
John just
live pig.
We gotta kill this thing.
Slaughter it right in front of everybody.
You notify them a few days beforehand, like, I'm gonna need you to set up a fire pit.
Yeah. Do you mind if I get pig blood on your carpet? It's just
You guys got some like long sheets of plastic around here so I could set up a cutting station?
Why does it look like American Psycho in the living room? What the fuck is going on?
Sorry guys, it's gonna get a little Texas Chainsaw Massacre in here. You might want to back up.
By the way, casseroles are really easy to do.
Casseroles, good call.
Casseroles are very easy to do. Look up a quick, easy recipe. And if you could do like some like, if you have no fucking idea how to cook, you don't know anything, just buy a tube of like cookie dough and just make some cookies.
There you
go.
You
don't have to
just eat the cookie dough.
Yeah, and then don't go.
Yeah.
Just eat a shitload of cookie dough and pass out. In your
don't show up to the potluck.
That's what I would do.
Rice Krispie treats. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Those are easy to make.
Berry desserts are not a bad idea because that's more banana pudding that you can eat for yourself if you bring a bunch of other desserts to like shove at people, and then you just take the whole bowl of banana pudding for yourself and go eat it in the corner.
That's actually a good idea. Like if you're gonna make a homemade banana pudding, like maybe consider whether or not you actually care about your friends and just like keep it in your fridge.
All right. That is basically it for episode 194. We're going to head into the iTunes review, which Brandon can give you a little detail about here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so, if you've watched this cast before, you know that we do this. This is kind of it's a newer feature, but I have to say I think it's one of my more... Yeah, it's really taking off. We have like a lot of interest where I really didn't think there would be. So on iTunes, you can obviously watch this podcast live, but whether you watch it live or whether you listen to it in your podcast app of choice, iTunes has a rating system. It's from 1 to 5 stars, but for this we only care about 5 stars. So what you're going to want to do is you go onto iTunes, you can go on your phone, you can go on your desktop. It's not a great experience, but it's worth it one time, just one time. They won't let you do it more than once unless you have multiple family members, in which case I would recommend you ask them to log in and also leave a review. But you can write anything you want here. Mm-hmm. We have had, we have really run the gamut. Every single week we get some real stuff.
We're gonna run out at some point.
Yeah,
people are not gonna be able to meme hard enough anymore.
Like I think that, but man, it doesn't stop. So I have to say, we definitely have some cutting edge memery happening in our iTunes reviews.
Yeah, that we do.
And sometimes it memes so hard that I actually can't tell whether or not it's a meme, which is when that's really the threshold for me, because I mean I'm on the cutting edge of this stuff myself. So again, we do read every single review. Unfortunately, we can't feature every one of them.
Yeah.
But we do read all of them. So if there's anything you really want to tell us, that is the place to do it. Like I don't necessarily read everything in all of our other forums, but here I read all of it. So you are guaranteed like at least some feeling of connection.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you might get featured on the cast.
Yep. Like
so
today's
anyway.
lucky contestant. So we had a lot of good reviews this week. Honorable mentions go out to Barry M. Dickener. and I'm going to pronounce this in the French way and hope people get it, this next name. Harry Thrustbon. Harry Thrustbon. Spelled B-O-N-N-E. Thrustbon.
Thrustbon. Okay.
That's a family name.
Yeah, it's a family name. Also left reviews this week. Didn't quite make the cut. Several members of the Hodes family, once again, coming out in force.
We had a lot of Hodes reviews this week, frankly.
And Brandon has been here. We appreciate and love you all, which is true. It's 100% true. Scott's not here.
We love some of you more than others, but like we do love you all.
Barry M. Dickener. Just like
That's so
like
good.
doesn't even look like a real name. They were just like, fuck it, Dickener. But the title of this review is Best Way to Pass the Time, and the author is a Mr. Barry Lumpkin, Mr. B. Lumpkin.
The Lumpkin family.
Mr. B. Lumpkin.
I miss the B. Lumpkins.
The KBMOD podcast is the best way to pass the time while I grade tests from my math class or while on the toilet. That is literally what this says.
Okay.
The KBMOD podcast is the best way to pass the time while I grade tests for my math class or while on the toilet. I've been constipated.
You're a teacher?
Yeah. I hope not. God. I've been constipated recently, so I spent way too much time in the bathroom. But like all good mathematicians, I can work it out with a pencil. God damn it. Regards, B. Lumpkin. I was not expecting that.
That's really fucking clever.
Good Lord, Barry Lumpkin. You do spend a lot of time on the toilet with a name like Blumpkin.
Yeah, I would have to imagine. Yeah.
That is it for episode 194. You can follow us on Twitter at KBMOD Gaming for all the central stuff. Facebook.com/KBMOD. And give us a like there as well. Make sure you're following the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/KBMOD. You can follow each of us individually on Twitter and various things. John is at KBMODJohn. Brandon is at Volition, VOL1TION. Blacklight is at BlacklightAttack, LITE. And on other things, he's LIGHT. So just look,
So confusing.
You don't want to follow
every
him,
time.
don't worry.
Blame Twitter, man. Twitter's fault.
And Mark, of course, AllShamNoWow on all the things. So make sure you're following all his stuff. I am Dan, NipNopsTV on Twitter.
Dan K Memes.
Dan K Memes, who ordered a burger the other night at Purgatory. Hey, Mr.
Oh, nice.
Dan K Memes. Don't forget, tune in tomorrow. Mark and I will be live all day doing E3. So tune in then.
All day.
I've
got bingo set up on my OBS. It's gonna be fun.
So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Whatever way you consume this podcast, thank you very much. We will see you guys next week with guest Shannon Z Killer. Thanks for watching, guys. Goodbye.
Yada.
Yada.